I think AI is making a lot of real estate agent channels more forgettable. And I can see why this is happening because agents are excited about tools like ChatGPT and image generators, and suddenly they can create thumbnails and channel banners in 5 minutes instead of spending hours agonizing over Canva or hiring a designer. But there is a big problem. Most of the AI generated branding that I'm seeing right now actually makes channels look less trustworthy, less memorable, and honestly more generic. And if your channel looks generic, people are going to scroll right past it. And this is becoming a huge problem on YouTube for realtors because everyone is using the same prompts. So all of the banners start looking the same. All of the thumbnails start looking the same. And eventually, all of the channels start to feel the same too. This is exactly the opposite of what you want. The goal is not to look impressive. The goal is to become recognizable in your market. That is a huge difference. Now, let me show you the biggest mistakes that I keep seeing agents make with AI generated branding over and over again. First, the designs are way too cluttered. There's a skyline in the background, a laptop, a luxury house, a microphone, a slogan, a map of the city, 15 different colors, 12 fonts. There is so much happening that the viewer doesn't know where to look. And when people get visually overwhelmed, they just stop paying attention. When I go to IKEA on a Saturday, it is mass sensory overload. And in half an hour, I am dying to get out of there. And as a result, I think I've been to an IKEA twice in my entire life. I cannot handle it. I do not enjoy the constant bombardment of visual stimulation. So we don't want to do that to our consumers and have them stop watching us. Simple is memorable. Clutter is forgettable. The second problem is the AI generated photos of us do not look real at all. The skin is either way too airbrushed and smoothed, or we can see every single pore on your face. You're too orange, your eyes are too white, your teeth are too white, you look like you've been in a tanning booth for a long time. Everything is overly sharp and overly polished, and they just don't look real. Viewers pick up on this immediately. They might not be able to put their finger exactly on what it is about the photo that they don't like, but what they're reacting to is that this does not look like a real person. There's a channel that I follow. She is not a real estate channel. She is a nutrition channel. But every single one of her thumbnails that she has made lately, I can 100% tell that AI made it and that she did not make it herself, because every picture of her, yes, it kind of looks like her, but not exactly. And it makes her look 10 or 15 years younger with no wrinkles and no flaws of any kind. And it's like, girl, we know that that is not a real picture of you. And is that what we want the consumer to think of? It kind of looks like you, but clearly it's fake. I don't want anyone to immediately think this is all fake. That's not the impression that I want to put out into the world. And I don't think you do either. The goal is to create trust. So we can't come across as artificial. We don't want to create distance instead of trust, because that's a problem for us. People are not looking for influencers. They're looking for someone who is trustworthy and real. The third problem is that most agents don't really understand how YouTube banners display across different devices. We have people that are watching on their phone. We have people that are watching on their flat screen TV. We have people that are watching on a tablet or on their computer, and everyone sees a different display. So the design that looks amazing on a TV might look terrible on a mobile phone. And then someone opens your channel on their computer and your face gets cut off, the words are cut off, the most important information disappears completely. And it's because when you made the design, you were not taking into account which device they would be watching your video on. Now, depending on who your target audience is, a majority of people are still watching on mobile, although a much bigger percentage of people are now watching on their TV. Those are completely opposite ends of the spectrum. A 72-inch flat screen TV and an itty bitty mobile phone. They will have very different viewing experiences. So when you sit down to create your channel banner, remember that recognizable meets impressive, simple is better than overly complicated and fancy. You do not need the fanciest banner on YouTube. You need a banner that immediately communicates who do you help? How do you help them? Why should somebody watch your channel? What makes you different and unique? And then remember what needs to be in the safe zone right in the middle, because that displays on every single device. What will be shown on a computer and what will only be seen if somebody is watching on their big flat screen TV. We don't want the most important stuff way at the very top where no one's going to see it unless they're watching on their couch, watching on their TV. Now, don't get me wrong. I think AI tools are great. I use them myself. I use them every single day. And I have been experimenting with making YouTube thumbnails using ChatGPT and the image generator. And after a lot of back and forth, they are definitely getting better. But I've had to really train that AI to give me what I want, not what it thinks it should be making. And there is a difference. Now, I made this custom GPT based on what I wanted, what I thought looked good. I uploaded a whole bunch of thumbnails to ChatGPT and said, these are the ones that were obviously created by AI. These are the ones that were obviously created by a human. What is the difference? Explain to me how we can easily tell that these were created by AI. And it gave me all of the reasons why. So I put it in a document and said, I don't want you to do any of these things. I want you to make this look as realistic as possible. I want it to look like a human created this and not a robot. So would that be of value for you? If you want a tool like that, tell me in the comments. And if I get enough interest, I'll see if that's something that I can share with all of you as well. I have an awesome Canva template that I give to my coaching students to make their own thumbnails and their own banner, but it's still, you've got to make it. And if you don't have a lot of experience with Canva, or Canva just makes your brain hurt, then sometimes it's a lot of hours of frustrated work. Whereas if you can just have ChatGPT make the whole thing for you, it definitely goes faster. So if that's something that you would like, tell me in the comments and I'll see you on the next video.